Hey guys, welcome back. Well, it's your Christine Timmon, only this time I'm the citizen mayor of East Point, Michigan. When you see what I'm revealing to you, we have a mayor who was elected who thinks that she's an overseer, the slave stuff. Just stick with this show and watch and see what can happen to you in government if you don't know the Constitution and if you let them get away with it because they're black. Hey people, hey, great to be starting this brand new show. I didn't want to have to launch such a show, but we've got so many vicious things going on in East Point, Michigan. We have a new mayor, Monique Owens, and she's a black militant. Everything she does it with militancy, and she brings out race all the time, like mentioning about you got a new audience, and audience don't look the same. See, when you're in government, you can't be doing all that stuff. You can't be mentioning race and none of that, but she does that. And talk about welfare. She coming in there begging for cars and she want her picture. She just got there. Hasn't done a thing yet for the citizens of East Point. And I just felt as though I had to step up to the plate here because I'm concerned that she is the one. Monique Owen, they call her Madam Mayor. Well, do you know what the definition of madam is? It's a woman, a female who runs a brothel or house of prostitution. I looked up the word. That's the principal meaning of the word madam. And all them people coming in there from Detroit talking about Madam Mayor and got the city council talking about Madam Mayor and all that stuff. And I just be laughing, because people use words and don't even know how they're using them. So the reason I really, really felt as though I had to step up to the plate here is because Owens, threw the black people under the bus with ranked choice voting. We don't know how it happened. All we know is she got the DOJ into East Point, called the white people all them names, and none of that's true. She just told them that in order to get things done her way, because she's one of them people is my way or the highway stuff. And so she got to fool the Department of Justice. So now we're stuck with ranked choice voting that we can never win because it eliminates the low numbers. It's worse thing you could have. If you want somebody to win something, you can't do ranked choice if they just got low numbers. When you can count your own self, 10,000 people, okay, 8,000 of them are blue, 7,000 of them, 8,000 are blue, 700 of them are red. Well, if it throws out the low numbers, where is 700 going to go? They're going to get thrown out. And that's what happened to all of the blacks. Now, if they had done it the way that I suggested, and one of the members of the Department of Justice, he said do ward voting. East Point is not that big. You don't need but 4 wards and 1 at-large. Where I live, it's so beautiful. It's highly interracial, mostly African Americans. That's Ward 1. They could have won there, but something else was going on behind the scenes. And as I said, all the blacks were eliminated by this woman. And we're going to play a clip of her later on. Now, one of the things I really felt sorry for black people for, they had the news people in complaining about people who look like me and can't vote and all this stuff. And so then that's why the Department of Justice was listening to all that crap. But they got to remember, everywhere that people like them rule it, blacks never get anything. So we're going to have our producer to roll the clip 1 of these black women complaining about, the voting situation in East Point, Michigan. Roll that clip.
Heather, it got pretty heated in this meeting tonight. Members of a growing community here in East Point say they feel that their votes simply don't matter and they are fed up. Emotions running high in East Point tonight as some citizens voice their anger over alleged violations of voters' rights.
A lot of the people that I work with, people in the area, they're not represented on that council.
A recent complaint by the Department of Justice alleges African American voters are kept from electing candidates of their choosing based on an at-large system for electing city council. Feds instead want voting districts to be set up so that voting is more fairly conducted in various parts of the city.
As a young black woman, there's no one who looks like me that can speak for my needs or what I need in the community.
If you have a certain percentage of minorities that live in East Point, which I understand now we're at like 35%, in that city, that you should be able to vote for the candidate of your choice.
We had a fair election, and if some of those don't feel that they won the election because of their color, I don't think that's the case.
Tonight, we learned the cost of fighting that lawsuit could amount to $1 million. However, simply changing over to districts would cost just about $50,000. Feds want changes made this year, and city leaders say it may become a money issue above all.
I think money is an important factor. It's not the only factor, but clearly, huge legal bill is not in anyone's interest.
I don't care why us. If there's a problem here, then I want to address it. It doesn't really matter to me why they spotted us.
City leaders are still working to figure out their next move. No timeline has been given just yet. Live in East Point, Simon Shakette, 7 Action News. Back to you.
All right. Well, you saw that. You saw that. Now, let's get to Monique Owen. Run her clip right now so they can see what type of person she is. She's demanding that if we don't like what she do, God selected her for mayor and she can't be moved. And if we don't like what she do, we got to take it to God. Well, in church, you can say all that because that's spiritual. But God does not have a contract with East Point, Michigan. For her to do that is religious persecution, religious discrimination, religious harassment. To say that I'm going to make all the laws I want to make, and if you don't like it, you take it to God. So we're gonna roll that clip because she said other things in the clip that I think you need to understand that we as citizens have to be aware of. So we're going to have our producer to roll it right now and listen to her first, and then I'll read what she can't do.
The administration is working on all of the pictures. There's a few that they don't have. But they are working on that to be able to make them the same size, because there's some of them that are bigger, and there's also like Robert Kern's frame is probably over 80 years old, 82 years old, so it probably has seen its wear. So they have all the mayor's pictures. I, for one, do not think it's necessary to put pictures of the mayors beyond City Hall. I don't think we need to do that, not only for the cost, but it's not necessary. But people like to come in and take a look at the pictures. They'll look at, for instance, Mildred Stark. If you don't know the history of Mildred Stark, she was an incredible lady. I'm not going to tell you what she did, but go online to find out what Mildred Stark did back in 1948. What she had done for the city was unique, and she ran on that platform, and she got elected, and with the council's help, the five of the council members did what she suggested. So yeah, I would like to see the pictures back on the wall, but as far as putting any pictures outside of City Hall, I would not be in favor of that.
So in those pictures that you recommended that go up, you will be one of those pictures as well, right?
Well, I'm a former mayor, Madam Mayor. As I said, all the pictures of the previous mayors were up there, yeah.
So you agreed that we should have all the previous mayors' pictures up there, and some of the residents agreed that that would be a good idea.
I think so.
And I think so too. Just like I think me as mayor that made history here for, like you said, the lady has a history past as well and did a lot for the community.
Yeah.
I think you should share that same empowerment and encouragement with me as well.
Well, I think your picture should be up there right away too. You're the current mayor, so
Absolutely.
your picture would be the last one on the right-hand side,
Absolutely.
right?
And also, some of these things that I've said are done in, I talked to the mayor of St. Clair Shores, He has his picture up there so people and residents can know who their mayor looks like and who it is that they're talking to and speaking with, so they can feel comfortable, because it's a lot of people who don't know who their mayor and people who represent them. And they also have it in Roseville, in Mount Clemens, and other cities that are around here. And I don't see why that should be a problem for people to let people know who their elected officials are, and you guys should be proud. I work very hard to be here, and I do a lot of work for this community. You guys should be proud of me, and you should want to see that. Next is, after, let me, because these are about me, and then I'll let you guys talk. So none of these things are not unaffordable. We already have the car, no issue. We already have the room, no issue. The pictures are something that should be done. That should not be an issue. I wish it was that many people in here when we talked about the kids and the fire, the things being stolen, people being hurt. I wish we had these many people in here, but you guys came in here to talk about pictures and cars being used that we already have because of your new mayor. I can tell you line items of the things that I've done as a councilwoman, and I can tell you line items of things I have done before I was a councilwoman, and money I spent out of my own pocket. I know how much we get paid, and you should too, if you did your research. So and I can have many directors and also council know that I come in here daily. Sometimes Mr. Cotton knows I'm here, right, Mr. Cotton? I need you to talk. I gotta hear you.
I have a lot to say, but
Please come up. I want you to say a lot. Please come up. I have went to the director and sat with you many days, haven't I? And I've also talked with Chief Sage, and I've also talked with Mr. Fairbrother, and I also try to talk to Mr. Blum when he's not back there being so busy, like I did today. So I spent a lot of time, energy away from my children, my husband, my friends and family, to serve you, just like I did when I was a police officer, giving my life for people I don't know. So I would love you guys to respect me for doing that first and foremost, putting my life on the line as an officer first. And as some of you in here, as pastors and ministers, to pray more for me, be there for me more as your leader, because that's what I am. Some of you didn't elect me, you wasn't supposed to. God did. And you cannot move me because you can't, unless you talk to him first. So instead of coming here and crowding up this place with silly things, research what I've done. Help me with that. I did a book bag drive that served 200 kids and fed them. Nobody in here showed up. In our own community, with my own money, to feed kids. I go outside of here to help human trafficking and give. Where were you? I was there. So if I ask for a card that we already have to make sure your kids are safe, to make sure the research is done, I'm not getting paid for that. I don't want your money. I didn't do this for money. I did this to give people hope. That's why these seats are being filled more than ever with people that don't look like the normal people that used to be here. So you can go on your Facebook pages. You can do all that stuff behind my back. But I'm going to continue to serve the community like I've always been doing. Whether I get any of these items or not, I'm going to still serve. That's my purpose. That's what God selected me to do. So if you have a problem with me being up here, talk to him about it.
Hey, I'm back again, people. Now, you heard all that stuff that she was saying about she can't be removed. That's a lie. I found out all it takes is 1,334 signatures on a petition, and we can have her out of there by February the 5th, we can start circulating petitions to have her recalled. So no one is in for life in any political seat. And for her to say that she could not be removed unless we go to God, well, that's plagiarizing. When God ain't said nothing like that, I didn't see that on the ballot. I ain't seen nothing like that. To say if you don't like Monique Owen, then you have to come to me. See, this kind of stuff, that's blaspheme. She's telling God what to do. She's going to get it. And we need to have a real city council meeting. You got to understand, the mayor's office and the city council are two different areas of government. One can't rule over the other successfully without something going wrong. And so I've sent a letter to Mr. Bob Erie, the city attorney. Our producer is going to put that screenshot of that letter up there right now while I'm talking for about a minute so you can see, what I'm trying to tell you. We can't live like that. The city council has to have its own meeting. They're supposed to have a council president and a council at large, since we are a four-ward city. Once you get those 5 people together, they're supposed to select a president. And that president, they all get together and set the agenda. The mayor is not supposed to set the agenda for the city council and vice versa. She needs to get her own meeting in order for this to be correct, because she's already proved that she is not a person, like she say, she's an overseer. Oh, well, that's a violation of Amendment 13, the anti-slavery clause. She can practically get sued for saying that. So that's what we got to do. The council is going to have to council up, man up, and woman up, and put her off that dais. If she wants to come to a city council meeting the way it's done, she's supposed to sit down at one end next to the city attorney, the far end, and she has no input when the city council is doing their negotiation. If she wants an input, she'd have to wait until her 3 minutes at the front and 3 minutes at the end. Not the way it's going now, where she's just running the council. She spent almost 5 hours begging for her picture and cars. Well, we do have city cars. Get one of them. I think she wants us to buy her a car. And this is just it's a part-time job. No one else has had it. And she said, it's because I'm black. The reason that you won't let me do this is because I'm black. It's not because she's black. Run that letter again. Show that letter again. It is not because she's black. And you had all the militants coming in saying it's because she's black why she can't get the card. Well, if the white people didn't have none, you're making it because she's black. Never had anything like this. And so she has delusions of grandeur. She definitely has got that. And she's like a racist welfare mayor. Coming in, this ain't the welfare office. The welfare office is on Van Dyke. That's where she should be at, begging for all this stuff. And like I say, I'm fed up with her religious persecution. And she sat there bragging about all the stuff she's done. You should appreciate me. Yeah, I fed the kids, and I did this, and I was a police officer. So what? Everybody has a duty. That's elementary school stuff. Look at what I did. I built a nuclear power plant. I'm the one that wrote all the welfare reform laws for this country. I'm the one the city of Lansing owed $45 million to. I'm the one that wrote cases that brought down Obama's immigration. I'm the one that engineered the packaging of all the military equipment that went to the Vietnam War. I got all kinds of accolades. The Florida Law Review says I'm the mastermind guru of the Constitution. Mastermind guru, expert mastermind of the Constitution. She talking about this little elementary school stuff. I mean, real elementary. Then talking about she feeding the kids. Who kids you feeding? We got the welfare. Ain't no kids out here need somebody feeding them. And it's dangerous to feed other people's children because you don't know what their allergies may be. So all this stuff she bragging about, and I want my picture, and my picture gonna be on top of everybody else's picture. Who she thinks she is? And she's not even pretty. She look like some Ugandan whatever. She's not pretty, you know. But she wants her picture to be sitting up over everybody else, and she know better than anybody else. Like a what? And like I said, you know, God does not have a contract with the city, and she has not proved. She said God selected her. Bring me your proof. I need to see the documents. She's sitting up there on that day and saying all that stuff, and if she really believes that, then we need to be seeing about some professional help for that woman. If she really believes all this stuff that she sat up there and said, because y'all watched her, she was about to cry. She actually believes all this stuff. And we should not be saddled. The city of East Point should not be saddled. And I thank all the blacks that came in from East Point who spoke out against her, because she brought a bunch of militants from Warren and Center Line and Detroit, you know, but and she gave her, she lied to her. Oh God, that's disgusting. These are the people that tore up Detroit. And the people of East Point, way back, right, you know, after the 50s, when see, the whole Detroit area was just like East Point. The whole thing for decades. And then President Johnson brought in the dope and the riots in the 60s. And by the 70s, they destroyed Detroit. And so they started building East Point. And I'm proud of them white people. I'm glad they built East Point. And I told them that when I first got there. I didn't know all this other mess was going on. You got these militants from Detroit coming in trying to start all this stuff. And they come up to that microphone talking all that stuff and don't bring no money. Well, she should do this and I should. Well, go get Kwame out of prison. Okay. Y'all talking all this stuff about Detroit. Just about every one of their leaders is in prison. It was so bad that they had to write in a white man's name. That's how bad it was. And they're coming out here to our town, bringing the Department of Justice on us. Believe me, Department of Justice is not coming back to East Point. And then I remember I turned in that notice from the FBI that say the mayors of today are corrupt and that they are a threat to national security. And then they sent us 3 or 4 pages. It's over 100 and it's almost 200 of them. So I'm going to have to bring in the FBI to help us get rid of her as a threat to city security. Because she's bringing in all these doggone militants and stuff, begging, and I guess they're going to start standing up and protesting. You know what I'm saying? But we're not going to have that. You know, so that's what I got to say to you people today. I'm just glad, you know, that that I'm strong enough, you know, to be able to come here and bring this situation to you. But Mayor Monique Owen, her time is not long. She better straighten up because we can recall her. You got 90 days to sit. And I talked to the state election, county, and they said we have to go by the charter. The city charter says that 90 days and we can start circulating recall petitions. Talking about she can't be moved. She the overseer. And she, what? When you heard that name, overseer, that's a slavery thing. And sitting up there browbeating the council, Mr. Curley, I just appreciate him because he'd be mad, he'd be turning red, you know, but he will jump up and he'll tell her, you know. And our new leader, Mr. Baker, oh, I love Mr. Baker. He is so cool. He be looking at her, you know, and that's the type of African-American leader you need. We need somebody with some civility, some darn common sense. He could be just like her, but he's not. He's proving that he's a modern educated man who wants to get along in the gentrification that's been going on in East Point. East Point was the first one to gentrify. So you got to understand why this happened. See, all of the jobs and stuff started in Detroit. And they tried to get all of them out of Detroit through methods in D.C., but it didn't work. So they used the drugs. They started drugging everybody and had the black people beating up all the white people and the black people too, gangland shootings and all of that. And so that's how East Point got built. It was called the New Detroit back in the day. And it's going to stay that way because I feel like I'm back home. This is just the way it was back in the day. Hear the music? It's so happy. I feel like I'm back home again in East Point. You know, they always say you can't go home again, but that's not true. East Point is home again for the whites and the black who wants to live there in peace and gentrification. Oh, it's just so lovely everywhere I go. I mean, the white people, I be scared sometimes because they just be hugging me and thinking and inviting me into stuff, you know. And then you got the militants coming up in there. They think they gonna tear down East Point the way they did Detroit. That's what established East Point, was the destruction of Detroit. So I got 1 minute left here, and I thank you so much. And so continue to support me, you know, as citizen mayor. I'm not going to ask you for any money because you don't need money to do what I do. You just need to know how to do it. So I know how to do it. So I'm your citizen volunteer mayor. I'm a volunteer to help us save the city of East Point from Madam Overseer Mayor, black Mayor Monique Owens. We got to overcome her. So we'll see you after the next meeting. See you after the next meeting. Roll my credits. Roll my beautiful credits.